Hi, welcome. My name's Dr. Debbie Koyman. I'm a clinical psychologist with liveyourlifefully.com, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about sexual abuse. First, I want to talk about what sexual abuse is, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how it's not your fault. So, first, what is sexual abuse? Sexual abuse really is any form of sexual contact between yourself and someone else that makes you feel uncomfortable. And what that contact can be can run the gamut and be include a wide variety of things. It may include actual touching of your private parts that makes you feel uncomfortable. It could be touching of other parts of your body in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. Somebody may be rubbing your head in a sexual way that makes you uncomfortable, or rubbing an arm or a leg, um, pressing up against your body when they're hugging you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, trying to kiss you, closed mouth or open mouth with tongue that may make you feel uncomfortable. It can include actual sex or penetration. It can also include having somebody make you watch them engage in a sexual activity, touch them or their private parts in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. It can also include them forcing you to watch or view or look at pictures or videos of a sexual nature that make you feel uncomfortable. So, all of these things can encompass sexual abuse. So if this is something that you've experienced, you might have not have labeled it yet as sexual abuse, but all of this does encompass what sexual abuse is. And for somebody that's been sexually abused, a lot of times people feel like it's their fault. And I want you to know that it's not your fault. No matter what happened, no matter what you think you did to maybe participate in that, it's not your fault. And I'm particular. This applies to everybody, but I'm in particular speaking right now to children who have been abused by either an older child or an adult in particular, or if you're an adult now, if this happened to you when you were a child, it's really, really important for you to know that this is and was not your fault. Adults are responsible for their own behavior, and adults are responsible for keeping children safe. So, if any adult in your life has ever treated you in a way that made you feel uncomfortable or not safe, that's abusive. And you are not responsible for somebody treating you that way. Again, no matter what you've done. And this doesn't apply only to sexual abuse, this is any sort of abuse. If you've been hit or demeaned and the adult has made you to feel like it was your fault, again, it is not your fault. Nobody, um, nobody, excuse me, nobody deserves to be treated in an abusive way ever. And an adult, especially, and this goes with us as adults, we're responsible for our own behavior, and at no point in time do we have a right, or does any adult have a right, to treat somebody else in an abusive or disrespectful manner. So, somebody who's been sexually abused, and if you've been sexually abused and you're watching this, there may be a voice in your head that's saying, that's not true. It is my fault. I did X, Y, and Z. And some of the things that you may be thinking are with sexual abuse, yeah, but let's say it was a child with a dad or a grandparent or a trusted friend. Yeah, but I sat on his lap, or yeah, but I didn't say no, or I didn't push him away, or there was part of my body that felt good. These are very common, very normal things to think and feel, and that does not mean that it was your fault. It does not mean that you wanted it. It does not mean that you liked it. Um, Especially if you're abused by somebody you trust. As children, we trust adults. That's their job to protect us and take care of us. So if they do something that's harmful to us, it can be very, very confusing. We also may have mixed emotions. If we were abused by somebody we love and care about, we may still love and care about them, even though they've hurt us. They often also tell us things that are very confusing, to make it seem like it's coming from love from them, or to make you feel like it's your fault. Some people will tell you that that it's your fault, that you made me do this, or don't tell anybody because they'll see that you've been a bad girl or a bad boy. And again, there's all of these messages that make you feel like it's your fault if your body responds to the abuse. Our bodies, we have sexual bodies. Our bodies are sexual in nature. They're designed to respond to sexual stimuli, and they will, because that's how we're designed by nature. So if your body has responded when you've been abused, again, that doesn't mean it's your fault. It just means your body is doing what it's designed to do. And the adults who are supposed to be taking care of and protecting you, which includes protecting your sexual being and nature, which is your rights to decide how and when you exercise that and with who and at an appropriate age. Um, so if your body's responded, you've had these confused mixed messages, again, it's important for you to remember it's not your fault. You may also think it's your fault because maybe adults you've trusted who you've told about it may have told you that it is indeed your fault. But again, even if somebody says it, it doesn't make it true. And unfortunately, sometimes people that we trust, that we think are going to take care of us for whatever reason, which doesn't make it right, for whatever reason, may not be able to see or hear what you're telling them. Perhaps you've been abused by a father or grandfather and you tell your mom, she may not be able to believe that your grandfather, your father, an uncle would do something like this. But it's important to remember that even if that happens, even if somebody doesn't believe you, even if somebody tells you it's your fault, to remember that's not about you and it doesn't make it true. That's about that adult having a hard time for whatever reason, taking in the truth. So please don't listen to and believe that if that's been told to you. And it's really important if you've been abused to talk to somebody, to find somebody that you can tell. A lot of people are so hurt, embarrassed, ashamed. They don't want to talk about it. They want to hide it. They want to put it away. But sexual abuse does have an impact on us. And it doesn't just go away just because you want to ignore it. So it's really important that you find somebody safe that you can talk to. This may be a parent, it may be a friend, it may be a teacher, maybe it's a counselor at school, maybe a counselor if that's something your parents are supportive of. It's really important to find somebody that you can talk to, and as soon as possible. I work with a lot of people who, they're well into adulthood and have never talked about it with anybody and have been carrying the pain of their abuse for years and years and years and years, thinking, like you may be thinking, that if I just push it away, it'll go away, but it doesn't go away. And like I said, people suffer for years and years and years, and we don't need to suffer in that way. The abuse causes enough suffering, and you don't need to have more suffering. And again, it's important. It's okay for you to talk about it. It's important for you to find someone safe. If the first person you tell doesn't believe you or you don't feel safe, please don't give up. Find somebody else. Keep talking about it until you can find somebody safe who will support you and who will help you through it. And if you can get help through counseling, obviously as a counselor, I support that and I do that work myself as well. So again, sexual abuse is not your fault, no matter what anybody else tells you, no matter what your own brain may be telling you. I promise you, it's not your fault. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to put in the description of the video a website that I think is great for more information about not only sexual abuse, but other forms of abuse. It's particularly for children and teenagers to be able to assess whether they're in an abusive situation, and it has lots of different suggestions for how to get help. It's www.burstingthebubble. That's what it is, burstingthebubble.com. I'll put it in the description so you can check it out for more information. And thank you for watching. Again, hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a comment below, or you can email me privately at Dr. Koyman, DrKooy